So today we're going to talk about codominance and blood type. And codominance is going to look very much like what we did for incomplete dominance yesterday. So we've already seen this, okay, that some alleles are neither dominant nor recessive, and many traits are controlled by multiple alleles or multiple genes. So we already did complete dominance. Red and white flowers only can make what?
Red and white.
Red or white, because we only have two phenotypes, right? In incomplete dominance, if we have red and white flowers, now we can make pink, okay? So there are now three phenotypes. So today we're going to talk about codominance, and codominance is going to work the same way, except the third phenotype is not a mixture now, it's both showing. So if we had a red fish and a blue fish, not one fish, two fish, okay? We have a red and blue fish. The fish is not purple. Everybody with me? Okay. The problem will tell you, or it will tell you that they had offspring or children that were red and blue. And if you saw that it said both colors, then you should know that it's codominance. If it brought in a mixture of a color, then you should know that it's incomplete, okay? We are also going to talk about multiple alleles today with blood typing. And then next week, which I told y'all to remind me today to make sure we talk about it, is sex-linked traits. And that's the last type of Punnett square that we will do on Tuesday of next week. All right, so this is what I had mentioned briefly yesterday. So if we were to take a red cow and a white cow, we don't make a pink cow that produces strawberry milk, although I know that sounds super yummy, okay? We get a red and white cow. So codominance is a pattern of inheritance in which both dominant alleles contribute to the phenotype. So instead of us getting a mixture or a blend, okay, now we are going to see both traits or both colors, okay? So the phenotype is going to look the same in the box with the alleles, but that's the genotype. The phenotype is going to look different because that is going to be both traits, both colors, okay? So for example, the phenotype of this chicken would be pheno
White.
black and white. You got to drop the mixture because it's not a mixture anymore. It's both. Okay, so black and white, or it could be a checkered chicken. Okay. Now we have to come up with the genotype. So what would we put for the white chicken? WW, and the black BB and BW. Okay. So we actually call this an erminette chicken. We don't need to be so much worried about that. You just need to know that it's black and white. It is not gray. If it were gray, we would be talking about what? Incomplete dominance, right? Very good. All right. So when there are two dominant alleles, both are expressed, whereas in incomplete dominance, we get that mixture. So we have a red cow and a white cow. Do they make a pink cow? No. Okay, they make what is known as a roan cow that is red and white. So this is codominance. So let's do what we did yesterday, except now instead of incomplete, we're doing co. So B is black, W is white. So if we have BB, it is black. WW, white. BW, black and white, okay? R is red, B is blue, RR, BB, blue, RB, red and blue, very good. R red, W white, RR, WW, RW, red and white, which is Roan. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna do the same steps we've been doing all week and solve a Punnett square. So the two alleles for fish scale color, red and yellow, are co-dominant. So if a red fish mates with a speckled red and yellowed fish, what percentage of their offspring will be yellow? So we already read the problem. Now we need to underline the known alleles and identify it as co-dominance because the problem told us that. But if it didn't tell us that it was co-dominance, how would we know? Because it talks about a speckled fish that is red and yellow. Okay, it's not orange. So what do we know about the alleles? Red and yellow are co-dominant. Okay. Next, we need to pick a letter to represent each allele. So what are we going to use? R and Y. That's it. So R is going to be what? And Y is going to be yellow. Okay. That would confuse everybody. All right. Next, we have to circle and or write down the genotypes of the parents. What do we know about the parents? Say what?
One of them is red and the other one's red and yellow.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. One's red and one is red and yellow. So how do we represent red? RR and red and yellow? RY. Okay. So there's our parents at the bottom. All right. Next, we need to set up and solve the Punnett square. So what are we going to put up top? RR, RY. If we do it backwards, is it going to matter? No. Okay. So RR, RY. What are we going to put here? Perfect. Double R, and then RY. Next, we have to highlight and answer what the question is asking. So what does the question ask? What? Will they have yellow offspring? What's the answer? No. So what's the percentage? 0. 0%. They are only going to have red or red and yellow. All right, so same as we did yesterday, except now we're throwing in a third type of dominance. So we've got complete, incomplete, or co. Red flowers are crossed with white. All the flowers are red. Complete. Red crossed with white, they're pink. That's incomplete because that's a what? Mixture. Okay, red and white, and now we have speckled red and white. That's co-dominance because both show. That is it. All right, a black cat mates with a white cat. All of their children are white with black spots. Co-dominance because both show. Okay. A red flower crossed with a yellow, and they produce orange flowers. Incomplete because it's a mixture. A red flower is crossed with a yellow. All the flowers are red and yellow. Co-dominance. All right. So what happens when two dominant alleles are in a genotype? So they both show. That is co-dominance. All right. The alleles for coat color in cats, orange and white, are co-dominant. So what are the possible genotypes for cats? Genotypes. OO, WW, or OW, which would be what? Because OO is going to be what? Orange. WW is going to be, and then OW is going to be orange and white. Okay. All right. Last, if an orange and white cat mates with an orange cat, what's the probability of their having an orange kitten? So what do we gotta do?
Identify the little
Identify the alleles, which are,
orange, white. O, W,
so O is what?
orange,
And W is,
white.
and then we do what?
You got the parent.
Yep, what are the parents?
O, W.
Parents are OW and what?
O,
And OO. OO. Now what do we do?
I gotta make a question.
Now you gotta make the Punnett square. What's going up top?
O, around.
What goes here?
O, W,
Oh, I don't know.
And what's the question asked?
How many orange?
How many would be orange? What's the likely? How much?
50%.
50%. Very good. Huh? 50% orange. Oh. All right. Pay super duper attention. So now we're going to talk blood types. So blood types, okay? They are an important part of codominance, but they are also a multiple allele, and I'm going to explain why. So the proteins on the surface of red blood cells determine your actual blood type, and those are determined by our genes. So there are 4 possible blood types, okay? A, B, AB, and O. Those are the 4 blood types. So A and B are considered multiple alleles because we can see them more than one way. And I'm going to explain this all to you, okay? AB is codominant because A and B both show. And then O blood type is considered recessive. So these didn't show up how they were supposed to, but I'm going to go over it anyway, and I'm going to write it on the board. So human blood type is determined by 3 different alleles. There are 2 that are dominant and 1 that's recessive. The dominant are A and B. The recessive is O. So when we're talking type A, type A blood, okay, is represented by A, or it is possible that you can see it as IA. Remember yesterday when we did incomplete dominance, I went over 2 ways to do it, right? Okay, so B, okay, is B or IB, and then O is O or a little I, because I said that O is recessive. So we don't see a capital letter. Okay, so just like with any other trait, you have 2 alleles for blood type because you get 1 from mom and 1 from dad. So this is how you can see blood types. Now, these are the genotypes at the bottom. So when we're talking about phenotypes, it's either type A, type B, type AB, or type O. Okay, so even though we're not actually seeing it, that's the phenotype. Because that's the traits that we're talking about. Everybody with me? All right, so the genotypes or the alleles, this is what you may see. Now, you, for me, are going to do the bottom way, okay? So if you see IA, that is homozygous A. If you see IA little I, that's going to be what? Heterozygous, because it's what? Different, okay? The same goes for B, and this is why these are considered multiple alleles, because you can see them 2 different ways. So IB would be homo, and IB little I would be hetero, okay? IA, IB, that is codominant, so they both show. And then little I is type O, which is recessive, okay? So when you do a Punnett square, you're gonna do it the simpler way, but you need to be able to recognize these if you see them. So this is simply just AA or AO. So AA would be homozygous, AO would be hetero. BB would be homo, BO would be hetero. AB, codominant, and then OO is recessive. Okay, everybody follow me? I know it's a lot, but if you do it this way, it'll be a lot easier. Okay, because this is just a lot of letters. Say what? We're gonna do an example. All right. So what is this blood type? Type O. Type A. Type AB. Type B. Type A. Type B. Now, I want you to tell me the genotype for heterozygous A, the way I told you. The way I told you. AO, that's it. A lot more simplistic. Homo B. BB. Homo A. Hetero B. BO. PU. All right, type O. OO. AB. AB. Okay. Type A. Or AO. Okay, this is a multiple allele. So type A can be AA or AO. Type B. BB or BO. All right, so now let's try a problem. A woman who is heterozygous for blood type B has a child with a man with heterozygous type A. What are the possible genotypes of their children? So yes, the alleles are what? So the woman is what? BO. PU, okay? And the man is AO. Okay? Because they're both hetero. So what goes in my top box?
AB. AO.
And what does it ask us? Possible genotypes. So what are the possible genotypes? Whatever you see in the boxes. So AB, AO, BO, and OO. Then if I were to ask you what is the probability that they have a child with type A, you would tell me type B, type O, and type AB. 25%.